Hi, this is Karen Berka, host of Branson Radio Live. If this COVID thing is getting to you, I think I just might have the right antidote for you. I have decided to post my Branson Radio Live shows on YouTube for all of our loyal listeners and visitors that come to Branson from all over the world. I'm hoping these YouTube posts will bring you some joy while seeing your favorite entertainers again, with lively interviews and some music they'll perform for you, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So please enjoy the shows, but don't forget to comment in the comments section. Tell me what you like and who you would like to see. This is my way of just sharing Branson Radio Live with you, some of the old shows, and bringing in some new when the time is right, once we heal from all this COVID. And so when things get back to normal, until then, I'll keep posting updates on Branson. So please enjoy the shows, and God bless you. Stay safe and healthy until we meet again. As I promised, I've got Jimmy Rochelle here from the Rock and Roll is here to stay. Jimmy, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fine, and thank you for inviting me. It's so nice to be out here. Hi, everybody. How are we?
So now nobody knows about you, but by the time we're through, they're going to know what toothpaste you use.
But they might not like me. Yeah, I know that guy. Really made me mad.
Well, you've got a whole host of things that you've done. Now, I'm going to start. When did you get into the music business?
I deny every one of them. No, I wasn't there. I was working. No.
Always and always, forever and ever.
Hopefully.
Amen, right? Now, how did you get involved in the music business? You know, I like, you play saxophone, and I'm particularly fond of saxophone because my father played saxophone for Lawrence Welk in the early days.
I knew there was something about you that scared me.
But he made more kids than he did money.
You boys. Yeah.
So anyway, Lawrence went on and became famous, but my dad, the fame didn't come soon enough for my father. He made more children than he did money, so here we are. But no, you play the saxophone, but now let's talk how soon in life, how old were you? Because I want this little girl to understand, this goes back way back when. When did you know you wanted to play an instrument?
Well, my dad was a big band leader and was really kind of famous in those days. He and Count Basie were best of friends. My dad's name is Jimmy Rochelle, and he's in a lot of history books, but he made a mistake of not recording. I know stars like Ella Fitzgerald worked with him. A lot of musicians would know a lot of names. Condoli Brothers and Wardell Gray. These are great jazz players. And they used to babysit me when I was little.
Is that right?
I hope some of it rubbed off, but my dad is in a lot of history books, and he was pretty famous in those days. Him and Count Basie were very good friends. But that's how I got started, by hearing the saxophone section, rehearsing in the living room, And my uncle was a great player. He played baritone sax.
And so you grew up in that industry.
Indeed.
And so did you know that you wanted to do it, or you just like listening? What gave you the itch to do it?
The alto saxophone. I just liked it, and my uncle was a great player, and he'd come over once in a while and he'd pick up my horn and play, because as you know, the baritone sax and the alto sax are in the same key. You guys knew that though, didn't you?
Yes.
Sure they did. So my uncle would play my alto, and I swear, Karen, I could see the notes coming out of that horn. I said, man, that's what I want to do.
You knew that was it, didn't you? So how did you start rehearsing and learning your craft?
Well, I started working with the band. There was a saxophone player that was big in our area. His name was Junior Walker. Okay. And so I knew Junior Walker. And in fact, I think we dated the same girl. I want to ask her about that. But anyway, our band started playing. I joined a band that was pretty terrible, really. But,
Jimmy, before you joined that band, you had to learn how to play that saxophone.
Oh, yeah. Well, I started in school.
Aha.
I started on the clarinet. And boy, was I terrible. But I was loud.
And then you graduated to saxophone.
I did, indeed, yes.
And that is your instrument.
That is and flute. I also play the flute.
And the flute. How many would like to hear Jimmy Rochelle play his saxophones right now, huh? Let's hear it for you.
Well, they might want to take that back after they hear me play.
Jimmy Rochelle.
I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Playing in small bands, you know how the guitar player takes a solo?
Yes.
And then there are no chords?
Right.
Well, I started playing two saxophones at one time.
You didn't.
I did, because when the guitar player took the chord, I could go toot toot, and I can play two notes and that'd make a chord, right? Okay, so then when the guitar player learned another song, I had to learn more chords. And the next thing you know, I was playing the darn thing.
So what you're telling us here, Jimmy, is that you not only play one saxophone, but you play two saxophones at one time.
Yes, I'm bisexual.
Uh-oh. Are you going to do that for us today?
I am.
Okay. Jimmy Rochelle, everybody, from the Rock and Roll is here. This should be exciting stuff, I'll tell you.
I want to say one quick... Oh, not yet, not yet. That's an original song. That's my original. That's one of my original.
Into that.
Yes, okay.
Run out of wind?
Well, it depends on...
But some people say...
Okay.
Jimmy Rochelle, everybody. Here he goes.
See, the other guy couldn't make it, so I got to play his part.
Wow.
A little out of tune, yeah.
Now, when did you, I mean, you know, I can imagine playing one horn, but how did you manage to say, oh, I got to do two of those things? And you certain mouthpiece and all that?
The embouchure. Mouth.
Oh, okay.
So you get used to it. By the way, they say saxophone players are great kissers.
I'm not going to... Hey, wait a minute. You must have been a good kisser, because how many kids do you have now?
4.
4?
It's in 5 years.
Are any of them...
How bad it was. I see. She should have just bought us a color television.
Well, you know, having those 4 kids, do you have...
Only my son. My son is in a rock and roll band, and they were signed on several labels back, but it was not the rock and roll like we remember. It was a rock and roll like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, that kind of rock and roll.
Let's have a sit down and visit for just a little minute more. Now, you over the world, actually, and you...
Yes, wait, I put these things down for a second.
Right.
To work at the Tomorrowland stand. It's the one.
And he's trying to put his saxophones down. That may here a minute. Okay. And so now you toured all over
A lot, and I used to do MW... What's this? Albania, the Middle East, the Orient a lot, or especially Korea.
Was that rewarding for you?
Yes, it was. It was, because you see a lot of our young people that are there, and the sacrifices that they make, and just the absolute number of Americans that volunteer for causes that have a global perspective, and how much good that we do all over the country. I mean, all over the planet.
If you were to choose any other career, would you have done it? Do you love what you do?
Well, I do, but when I have my phone in my pocket and somebody calls, it tickles. At any rate, it's probably somebody I owe money to.
So now you know, would you have chosen a different profession, or do you think this was the right one for you?
You know, there are many times when I thought, what am I doing? And I should have stayed in school. I was going to be a geologist for a while, and I really liked that. But, you know, all things considered, and I had 3 cousins who were doctors, and a lot of people in my family are in medicine. But I think all things considered, it was probably the right thing to do. But if you want to go into music professionally, it's always good to have something else to do as well. But I think it's a good thing to do.
Right. Now, you had a comedic act for a while.
I did. In fact, I still have that guy, but I have a comedy character by the name of Snort Kleebwacker, one of the reasons I came to Branson. And I've got him in my bag down there, but Snort sings some songs, and I don't know if it would be, if I
appropriate, maybe
get that stuff out in time to
you
work
know,
with your show.
We might be able to do that.
See it on the radio.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so let's talk about that character, though. What does he do?
Snort. Well, Snort sings a funny song, and it's a funny songs. His most famous one is "Ugly But There." And had I known, I would have brought.
I understand. Well, there's other opportunities, okay?
I hope so.
Now, you had the privilege to meet Barry White.
Yes. Well, yeah, when I was a kid, and when I was 20, 21, 22, Barry White was producing a lot of people there at Gold Star Studio. If you're in Hollywood at that time, everybody, Glenn Campbell, Frank Sinatra, everybody recorded at Gold Star. And I had the bounty of meeting Barry because he was producing my guitar player. And they were looking for material, and I got a chance to write for Barry White a lot. And although they did record some of my stuff, I don't think it was released, not that I know of. So,
now, name some of Barry's...
ASCAP never called me, so I guess they didn't release it.
Name some of Barry White's famous tunes.
Well, we had the Love Unlimited Orchestra, and I can't remember some of the songs. I can't remember him saying what those songs were. But everybody knows Barry White. You know,
Love
but the
songs.
odd thing,
He was famous for love songs.
yeah, the odd thing was it was him who actually turned me on to country music. Because
Now that is odd.
He says that if you want to be, a songwriter, he says you've got to listen to country music. He says those guys are light years in front of everybody else, and you know he was right.
Don't you have some country tunes prepared for us today?
Indeed, I do.
Are you ready to sing one?
I am.
All right.
A scout is prepared.
Jimmy Rochelle.
That's the Boy Scout motto.
On
This is a
Branson
song that
Radio
did
Live.
really well in Spain. Go ahead. It's called Glory Bound. It did great in Spain and Australia. Bleached out paint on a full-banging Ford, 3-ball tires, and trust in the Lord. The engine humming makes a happy sound, and he got Jesse beside him, and he's glory bound. Long words. He'll never be this free again with a half a tank of gas and a good tailwind. The engine humming makes a happy sound, and he got Jesse beside him, and he's glory bound. Coming, glory bound. Glory bound. There's no looking back. There's no net beneath him, but no rope to his neck. It's a leap of faith to uncertain ground, and he got Jesse beside him, and he's glory bound. Glory bound. Got $100 bill, he's got the clothes on his back. He's tired of living in a one-room shack. He's looking for something that he ain't found, and he got Jesse beside him, and he's glory bound. Glory bound. These are great Nashville pickers. I wish I could say hi to them. Glory bound, there's no looking back. There's no net beneath him, but no rope to his neck. It's a leap of faith to uncertain ground, and he got Jesse beside him, and he's glory bound. See if you can grab a pint with me on the end, Karen. Glory bound. Glory, 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 glory bound. Glory, 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 glory bound. Glory, 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 glory bound.
Now, I want to talk about Jimmy Rochelle.
Wait a
Yes,
minute, I'm
give him a
sucking
round
up
of
all the
applause.
applause. Okay.
You know, you've got another song planned for us here before you
Yes,
go.
I do.
And I want to talk a little bit about the show that you've got. Now, you lived in California, and you came here to Branson, Missouri. Why did you do that?
You know, that's a very good question. The reason I did that was because I could see in the entire industry was changing, starting with the record industry because of the internet, and also because, well, the Romans said that there are two things we have to have: our food and our circus. Which, when we got to eat, we got to have entertainment, and I could see the entire industry morphing into something else. And an anomaly is am I saying it right?
I think so.
An anomaly sounds good. Is that right, you guys? An anomaly occurred, and Branson just sprung up. Nobody planned it. And I knew that the people that thought like me would be here. So I packed up my kid that was left with me and my trailer, and I just moved here. I didn't have a job or anything.
Now, so how long have you been in Branson?
About 3 years.
3 years. And what all have you done since you've been here?
I've starved a lot. No. Well, I had a gig down at the Landing for a long time playing the two saxophones. People would throw money at me. I would say, throw soft money. And
Don't hurt me, please.
Don't hurt me. And then I had a gig with, I worked with another band called the Skillet Lickers. And then last year I worked at the Mickey Gilley Show with Freddie Hamilton. And I work with another girl, Trish Fevold. And shows that we're struggling like everything is right now. Although the time is down here in Branson, it's a strong industry and it will come back. It's a reverse industry, and we're just glad to have people that come out to see us, because there's nothing quite as personal and as provocative as one-on-one entertainment. We used to work Harrah's a lot in Tahoe, I forgot to put down there. And there were some great comedy acts and I'll tell you, you can't beat it. You can't beat a person entertaining another person if it's good. I mean, it can be terrible, but if it's good, there's nothing better, I think.
And so how did you wind up with the Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay show?
Well, Scott Riley, who is Joey Riley's brother, and
that works with Mickey Gilley.
I met them through Mickey Gilley and through going through jam sessions and getting involved in this wonderful musician and artist culture here. One of the guys it's Dave Hamner from the Hamner Barber Show told me when we were doing some promotional stuff. He said, the thing that's happening culturally here with musicians and entertainment is almost like it happened back in the vaudeville days. We have a culture of artists that are developing here, and Karen, you're part of it, and so am I. And
I'm excited to be a part of it, aren't you?
It's great being a part of it, yeah.
Yeah, you bet. And so you wound up with this cast, and how did you get introduced to them? And you were talking about Joey Riley's brother got you introduced to some of these folks?
Yes, Scott called me, and we had a job that was starting over at the Tower Theater in the Branson Meadows, at the Branson Meadows.
Yeah.
And our backer backed out on us, owing us all money, and we found he didn't have the lease right, and everybody had invested a lot of time, and a lot of our friends were there, and they know all about this, and the guy backed out of us, and I just quit my night job.
A lot of hopes and dreams dashed,
so
right?
we were all just hanging. So Don Solis, our light man, and our sound man, Ray and Ron, who are brothers, along with the two leaders, the two of our dancers, went together. They put their money and their heads together, and they backed our show to get it started, and they brought in other people after that, and they moved out and got another lease down at the Star Theater.
So
that's how we got started. Oh, and by the way, I want to say that the dancers from our show, which are in the Red Hot and Blue show, are still up and going. They still have 2 shows a week at least, I think, and another one, and they're at the Americana, I think it's Tuesdays and Sundays, but they're still going strong, although one of our founders, a guy, Chris Tucker, recently got pneumonia, and he's in the hospital, and he's coming off of life support. He's doing pretty good, but he's a great guy, and those guys really committed to our show, and it's because of their willingness to sacrifice and to commit themselves. We got a great new show going.
So if you got any prayers in your back pocket, you might pray for this. What's his name?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. So he's had a bout with his health, and he needs some help, doesn't he?
He's doing good. Well, we're going to pull through it.
All right. And so now what can the audience expect to see? Now, I think you got some tickets that you buy one, get one half off or something like that for your show.
Do.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, but rock and roll is here to stay. Now, you play your saxophone. What can people see at your show?
I play the double saxophones. Well, we'll see a tribute to all music. We start from the 50s. We go through Fats Domino songs. And Fats Domino songs were great during that period. Actually, Fats Domino sold more records than Elvis did.
My thrill.
That's just one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a walking.
Yeah.
All those songs, Hey Josephine, all those songs, Fats Domino actually sold more records than Elvis during that period. Only Elvis had an afterlife. I don't think Fats did.
No, he didn't.
But we do a lot of songs out of the 50s, out of the 60s, and out of the 70s, and we do everything from Fats Domino and Elvis to a Motown tribute, and the kids come up in front and they do a great Motown act.
So you got some young kids on the stage,
oh, we
too.
do.
That's
well,
awesome.
Our dancers are younger.
And Branson Star Theater is right on the 76th Strip.
Yes, it is, but you can, it's kind of hidden. It's tucked back into a little hollow, so when you're going from the Titanic here down to the IHOP, right behind the Olive Garden, the Star Theater is there, and I'm going to give everybody in here, I'm going to give everybody 2-for-1s before I leave. I'm just going to give you our rack card. I'll make a little sign on it. You just take it up to our box office. You're in for 2-for-1s, and you kids are free.
And you can enjoy seeing Jimmy and the cast over there at Rock and Roll is here to stay. You got one more song for us?
Sure.
So let's go for it and let's hear it. Jimmy Rochelle, everybody, on Branson Radio Live.
Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
I know you can play 2 saxophones at once, and we've seen that. But I also know that you can play one the regular way and one upside down.
Oh, yeah.
So before you get out of here today, can I get a little sampling of that from you?
Sure, of course.
Right.
Well, let's do that first, and then we'll get into your song, because we've got another guest coming up, Keith Allen, and he has been around Branson for quite some time, and he's quite the entertainer, a consummate entertainer, and we're going to get Kurt Moore up here, too, and visit with him a little bit. So let's get those saxophones and recognize our sponsors. He'll get hooked up. James Wilson, go ahead, take it away. You're listening to Branson Radio Live.
Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe. We want to thank David Good and his wife, Carol, for giving us the opportunity to bring this show to the world live from Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe here on Highway 165 in Branson, Missouri. Stop by Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe when you're in town. You'll be glad you did.
Best Buy is Branson Radio Live's major sponsor. Best Buy, a global family of brands, an industry leader with more than 40 years of history, but that's not really what Best Buy is about. Best Buy is about people just like you. And yeah, we know every company says they're about people, but Best Buy really means it. And we know from firsthand experience by the equipment that they provided so we can stream Branson Radio Live to you. Offering a world of electronic products, you can find everything you need for home, business, and more at Best Buy in Branson, Missouri. So be sure and check out Best Buy on our website, BransonRadioLive.com, and here in Branson at 977 Branson Hills Parkway, Branson, Missouri. You can call them too at 417-336-6979. Again, that's 417-336-6979. It's Best Buy for all your electronic needs.
Thanks, James. And we're going to get Jimmy to play both these saxophones, and one upside down or whatever you said, because you saw him do this. And so go ahead and explain what you're doing there, Jimmy.
Oh, this is something that's kept me out of the big time for many years. I'll tell you, we kind of do it. I have to kind of improvise a little thing, so I can only do a little bit of it. But I think what I can do is do a song that we all know. I won't even tell you what it is. But when I had my first gig in Alaska, the guy wouldn't pay me until I learned this song. And so if you want to clap your hands, feel free. There we go. And then I'll have to play a little bit upside down. It's not very much, but I hope you like it. Are you ready?
That's some good stuff.
Hey, I got to tell you, I also play flute.
Okay.
I also play the flute, and I got to tell you, when we speak about the flute, during Vietnam, I was in the 3rd Army Band, and I was very lucky to get, because I could play the flute, so I got to turn in my rifle. It kept me out of the jungles. So I also play the flute, and we have to speak of the flute very respectfully.
Amen. So now what song do you have planned for us? You're going to sing a number for us. I'll take those saxophones for you.
Oh, okay. Well, here, I'll just
All right. So what song do you have for us?
Okay. Is it okay? Well, let's just do. Well, we can do "She." I have 2 other songs, and these songs are all original songs, and they're on my CD, which is From Across the Tracks, where I mix my R&B background with my country leaning. And this song was written because I fell in love with a really, really jealous girl.
Uh-oh.
Boy, but was she pretty. But she drove me crazy. So she was the inspiration of this song.
Jimmy Rochelle from Rock and Roll is here to stay. 50s, 70s, and 60s here on Branson Radio Live.
Now that we're together and I'm over the pain, you hate the woman I remember. Even a mention of a name, then you look past my rough edges, love the man within. Well, she's the one who changed how I'd always what I took for free. And she made me turn around somehow. She made me grow into whatever I am now.
A lot of heart in that song.
I don't care how strong a love is, you can hurt it with a lie. And what I took for granted, I one day watched die. So if her name gets mentioned, let me try and explain. The man who now loves you was born from her pain, and she showed how true love ought to be, and she paid for what I took for free, and she made me turn around somehow. She made me grow into whatever I am now. Now what's learned the hard way is a lesson well learned. It's all that's left of the bridges we burned. She showed how true love ought to be. She paid for what I took for free. She made me turn around somehow. She made me grow to whatever I am now.
Jimmy Rochelle, ladies and gentlemen, at the Uptown Cafe on stage live on Branson Radio Live. Now, up next, I'm going to bring Kurt Moore up, and thank you. And he's got, tell us where we can find you. Oh, here we go. You are at, name your theater and where they can find you.
We are at the Star Theater. Red is there too. In the morning, en la mañana, a las 10, a 2. 2 horas, por 2 horas.
So we've got Kurt Moore here with us today, and I'm going to hand him a microphone. Okay. And Kurt, you are the one that brought our next guest or is going to bring him to the stage, to the Uptown Cafe. And this gentleman that you brought here, his name is Keith Allen. What do you know about Keith Allen?
I know Keith Allen is one of the people in Branson who gives back more than what he gets. He has a show that's called The Red Allen Show. It used to be Redneckers. He changed it recently to The Red Allen Show. And he's at the Star Theater, Branson Star Theater, again behind Olive Garden, just off the Strip.
Now, you know him through your writing. You're a columnist for one of the papers here in Branson, Missouri. Let's talk about that.
I'm a columnist for the Ozark Sentinel, which is the largest weekly paper in the state of Missouri.
Now, you've been in Branson how long?
I've been in Branson too long. I've been here.
I know you don't mean that because you love it here.
A little over 20 years.
Is that
I've been
right?
Around here. And
you've written for a number of
I've written for a number of papers, yes, and magazines.
What's your background? You're in radio too, weren't you?
I was in radio for about 20 years, and this is the first time I've been on radio since '84.
Oh, my goodness. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Well, you know, you're a new addition to Branson Radio Live, and we're happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Every Friday, you bring a star guest to us here to entertain.
That's what I intend on doing.
All right. So let's talk about Keith Allen, the talent that you brought today.
Well, Keith Allen has a really different show. His show is based on nostalgia. It takes you back to the time when you were a kid or beyond when you were a kid. depending on how old you are. He talks about his family, and through his family, you identify with your own family. And and he also sings songs that are not normally sung in Branson theaters, which is really neat, like Roger Miller.
Trailers for
you can't skate the buffalo herd.
I always love that. Do you sing that one, Keith? All right. Okay, he does.
I've really gotten to know Keith within the last year or so, and he and his wife Paula are just the kind of people that you want for your next door neighbor. I've been down to their home. They've got a beautiful home on the lake. They've got a beautiful view of the lake, which is fantastic.
Well, he has a show at 2 p.m. over there at the Star Theater.
It's at
right,
Branson
in the morning.
Star Theater.
Yeah, and you couldn't get more accolades than this. It says he's wowed Branson audiences since 1991.
He has. Keith started out in Silver Dollar City, and I think he'll probably tell you a little more about that as we go along here. I think right now it's time for Keith to do something.
Are you ready to get him up? Keith will make you laugh and maybe bring a tear to your eye. Let's welcome him to the Branson Radio Live Uptown stage. Keith Allen here at the Uptown Cafe. Make him feel welcome, everybody.
He's...
Had a little chicken and it wouldn't lay an egg. So I poured the hot water up and down its leg. Well, the little chicken hollered and the little chicken begged and the little chicken laid me a hard-boiled egg. Thanks for the hard-boiled egg, cheek, cheek.
Keith Allen, everybody.
Well, howdy. Howdy.
Howdy.
Woo, it's nice to saw you. My name is Red, White, and Blue Knickers, but y'all can just call me Red. Nice to saw you again.
Well, now, here you are in Branson. You've been entertaining since 1991. Go ahead and just feel free to give us a little sample of your talent. Plug in that guitar and take it away.
I'm not exactly sure where this plays, to tell you the truth.
Well, don't look at me.
So,
We'll bring this over so you'll be center stage here, and Gary Welch will get you hooked up. For those of you on the globe, we're glad that you joined us here at Branson Radio Live and here at the Uptown Cafe. It's great to have you here, and you're really going to enjoy Keith Allen. He's quite an entertainer. Whoa, now that sounds
I think
good.
we're electric, Jimmy. Did y'all, well, hello. Did y'all enjoy Jimmy over there from Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay?
Yeah.
I loved old Jimmy. Now, that was a good deal right there. Y'all come out to the Branson Star Theater and be sure and see old Jimmy and that cast and crew out there. They do a marvelous job. And I'm thrilled to be here. I want to thank y'all so much for having me here
You're
today.
very welcome. We're
and I'm going to
honored
sling
to have
y'all
you.
a little song here. We'll get a little level on the guitar working out. And now, me and my pretty wife, Paula, we moved here might near 20 years ago to Branson. We come in on a U-Haul truck. Behind it, we was towing a Chevy with a headliner falling down. Y'all ever seen one of them? That's how we got here. Two handsome sons, 2 dogs, and a litter of pups. And I want to sing y'all a little song right here just to give y'all an idea of why me and Paula moved to the Ozarks years ago. I'm moving to the country, a log cabin by a mountain stream, where I can sing it right, sleep at night, breathe air that's fresh and clean, where I can raise my family like they did in my mother's time, while there's still a little time. Lord, I'm moving to the country. We'll have reunions, lots of family gatherings, and lots of little children. You know we'll love one another, and I'll pray for peace on earth. Y'all can take her for what it's worth, but I'm packing it up and moving to the country, where people there refuse to lock their doors. If we could live like that, wouldn't the world be a better place if we could save a little space and move to the country? We'll have reunions, lots of family gatherings, and lots of little children. You know we'll love one another, and I'll pray for peace on earth. Y'all can take her for what it's worth, but I'm packing it up and moving to the country. Yes, I'm packing it up and moving to Missouri.
Fantastic.
Well, thank y'all too much. I
well,
appreciate
tell us a little bit about yourself here.
Well, let's see. I'm about 5'9.5". I'm heavily balding. And let's say I wear overalls and a red hat and red boots. They're Doc Martin boots, by the way.
They're nice.
Doc gave them to me. He's from England. He talks funny, you know. He said, "Hey, Red." He said, "Well, you ought to have a pair of these boots." I said, "That sounds good to me. I'll take the blue ones." Ended up with the red ones. That's how that happened. But I live out here. I live in the holler, you know. This is mountains we live in around here. People don't know that, see, but from the top of the ridge line to the bottom of the hollers is the same distance as the Rocky Mountains. So we are a mountain range. We just turned upside down. And if you don't believe it, come see Rock and Roll's here to stay at the Branson Star. They'll turn you upside down, I guarantee. Ain't that right, Jimmy? That's it. That's right. I love the Ozarks, though. I'm an Ozarkian right there.
Once you get here, you're bound to stay, aren't
That's
you?
Exactly right. Tomatoes and cross ties. That's what I'm all about right there.
Now, you know Kurt Moore. You've known him for quite a while. This guy behind you?
Who? Kurt Russell. I know Kurt Russell. We was in a movie together, Escape from Blue Eye. But y'all might have seen that one. Yeah, I know old Kurt back here. He's a writer. Boy, these writers, they'll embarrass you. You know it? They will. They write stuff about you.
Well,
He'll write about you. You'll see what I'm talking about.
But he's here, and he wants to talk to you and ask a few questions and talk about your career. So go ahead, Kurt. Take it away. You know him, and you've known him for quite some time. All right.
Where do you want me to take it?
Take it away. That's what she said. Take it away.
All righty. You started out in Silver Dollar City.
That's right. I come in here back in the early 90s, 1890, 1891, and went out there at Silver Dollar City. I didn't work out there. I just played out there for about 15 years. I lived in the hotel directly above the ice cream parlor. Oh, it worked out good for me.
That's got to be a story in itself.
Oh, it was. It was. It's the doctor that put me on that prescription. He said I needed to eat 5 bowls of ice cream a day.
Did it work?
Yeah, it kept my feet in the shade all summer. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. I know you're here. So, yeah, I come out here. I've been with Silver Dollar City for years, and then I went over and went to work for Roy Rogers, Jr. Yeah, Roy Rogers Jr. You know where Roy Rogers Dale Evans Museum is? I worked over there with him for 2 years. That was magnificent. And then I decided to do my own show in Branson, Missouri after all these years.
And where'd you go?
I went to the Grand Palace.
Grand Palace.
I went to the Grand Palace. The Grand Palace asked me to come over and do a show. That lasted about 3 seconds. And then I ended up at the Branson Star, which is the old Mel Tillis, Yakoff, Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard. The list goes on and on. But it's over there behind the Olive Garden. It was actually Mark Trimble's car show when he built it in 1989. He put fancy cars in there and stuff. But that's where I'm at right now. I've been there for my second season there.
What made you? Go ahead.
One thing that the people may not notice because of your red hat is that you are...
Really balding. Yes, I am.
That isn't what I was going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
You are one of the premier guitar pickers in town.
Oh, Lord, don't say that, man. Are you kidding me? The most fabulous guitar players in the world are in Branson, Missouri. I'm just a hacker, kind of like a double bogey golfer. That's what I am on the guitar. But thanks for saying that, though. I appreciate it. That was nice.
Well, you going to do another one for us right now?
Sure, I'd love to. I'd love to do a song for you. Could you pull the guitar down in the monitor for me, please? It's just blowing my... Okay. You know, how many of y'all ever got to spend time with your great-grandparents? Anybody out there spend time with their great-grandmother, great-granddaddy? See, I thought my great-granddaddy could walk on water. I didn't think there was nothing in the world my great-granddaddy couldn't do. And he was a farmer. He was a proud farmer. But he didn't want nothing to do with my Papa Jude's tractors. He plowed with a team of mules. Get up, mule. We're going to meeting. Hurry up, mule. don't you walk so slow. I can see the light of an old brush arbor and the preacher in his faded overall. Sometimes in my mind I go back to my childhood, and I can still hear grandmother pray. On Sunday night we'd load the wagon. That's when I'd hear great granddaddy say, hey, get up, mule, we're going to meet. Won't you hurry up, mule, don't you walk so slow. I can see the light of an old brush arbor and the preacher in his faded overalls. Well, it was there I gave my life to Jesus. On an old-time altar I did pray, and I could hear angels shouting hallelujah. And we didn't get back home till the break of day. Hey, get up, mule, we're going to meet. Won't you hurry up, mule, don't you walk so slow. I can see the light of an old brush arbor and the preacher in his faded overalls. Hey, get up, Jack. Step up, boy. Get back in that hole. Back up, back up. Gee. Oh. Well, my great-granddaddy's gone. So is that old wagon. But God is still just as free today. And when I die, I know I'll go to heaven. I just might hear my great-granddaddy say, hey, get up, mule, we're going to meet. Won't you hurry up, mule, don't you walk so slow. I can see the light of an old brush arbor and the preacher in his faded overalls. Oh, I can see the light of an old brush arbor and my great-granddaddy's faded overall.
Keith Red Allen, everybody, on Branson Radio Live. You know, Keith, you look like you really love to entertain. How long have you been entertaining audiences?
Well, I don't know. The first time I ever sang a song was, I was about 5 years old, and I was sitting on the front row of the First Baptist Church in Stanton, Texas, and I was so excited about the whole thing. I was singing so loud it was disrupting the whole service, and so the song director said, well, you know, it sounds like you really enjoy singing, don't you? He said, why don't you just come on up here and sing? So I did.
and that got you started.
Where it started right there. That's right.
Where did you learn to play such a fine guitar?
Well, I lived in Anchorage, Alaska when I was a little kid growing up. My mama used to make me walk back and forth to a music store where I got me an old Harmony guitar, and she'd pay $2 for my guitar lessons. And I started that way, but then halfway between the music store and my apartment where I lived, there was a pool hall that had pinball machines.
Uh-oh.
And so I learned to play... That's what I learned to play at the music lesson. But then I decided that if I stopped in the pool hall, I could play the pinball machines, and $2 worth would last me long enough as it takes for the guitar lesson.
No.
And so then I'd go back home and I'd sit in my room day after night after day and go... And my mama said, you ain't going back to that music store no more. I'm done with this guitar. Put it away. And that's how that started. That's a true story, by the way. You can't make that up.
That is funny. No, but you're so proficient. So did you learn this all by yourself?
Well, yeah, I had to because I didn't have a guitar teacher no more, and I didn't have the money for the pinballs. But actually, you know, the fellow that helped me learn to play the guitar years and years ago was a fellow by the name of Roy Arbison out in Midland, Texas. And he showed me a D chord and a G chord and an A7. And he said, just play that D, that G, that A7, D, G, A7. Play that over and over and over again. He said, there ain't a country song alive that you can't play with those three chords. And so that's kind of how I did it. And then I never could afford guitar picks, so I just picked with my fingers.
Okay, but you play all kinds of music, don't you?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I play all kinds of styles of music.
Yeah, and you brought comedy into your act.
No, that's real life. It ain't funny. A lot of people get sad when they hear me say stuff that other people laugh at, but, you know, that's life. You know, that's the way life is. I just talk about what's happened in my lifetime, and I mainly talk about what was instilled in me as a little boy on my grandmother's farm. Because, see, I believe that every child in the United States of America ought to spend a minimum of 2 full summers on a working farm before they're allowed to graduate from high school. Ought to be a part of their curriculum. I guarantee you, if you can take badminton, you can take Farming 101. And I don't know, for all you folks out there listening, I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but did you know that FFA is almost non-existent in most schools throughout the United States of America? And I believe in what my grandmother taught me on the farm. My grandmother taught me 3 of the most important things in life. She taught me how to milk a cow, churn butter, and gather eggs. She said if I could do them 3 things, she would always keep me round.
Did you ever?
I have always been round.
Did you ever entertain those farm animals?
Huh? Did I ever date any farm animals? What? What kind of show is this? What'd she say?
Entertain.
Entertain farm
animals? Did you play guitar for them? You know, perfect your craft out there?
No, I didn't kick up the guitar until later on in life.
I see.
But yeah, I've had a wonderful time on that farm, and it's in northeast Texas, up close to Texarkana. I come from multiple generations of farmers, back to my great-great-granddaddy, and I don't know. That's what I've done for 20 years in Branson. Is I've shared those stories about being raised on that farm with my grandmother, my granddaddy, my great-grandmother, and my great-granddaddy. And that's what I'll continue to do as long as I can live.
Are there other musicians in your family?
Not that I know of. I have a couple of cousins that like to pick the guitar and stuff.
So at reunions, do you perform for them and just have a lot of fun?
No, I actually don't. I've never been to a family reunion.
Is that right?
No, most of my kinfolks live way out at long distances from me, and when they hold stuff that they do annually or whatever, I'm always picking and grinning in Branson. And if I say I'm going to do a show, I'm going to be here. I can't leave. And
that's right. You're devoted, Kurt.
Yeah, I'd like to say something here. I mentioned earlier about Keith and Paula giving back to the community much more than they've ever taken in. If there's a benefit, if there's a cause, they say yes before they even know where it is. But I know Paula's joked about that Keith has said yes to something, and she'll say, where is it? He says, I don't know. So they just do it. They give back much more than they receive. Are you going to do a little Roger Miller for us?
Well, I know you'd like me to sing that. Now, do you know Roger Miller loved Branson, Missouri? He came here many times. He was going to build a theater here on Country Music Boulevard, called it King of the Road. I think if he'd have stayed with us, he'd have probably been one of the most successful entertainers in this town. But I loved him because he wrote songs that I got but didn't get. Have y'all ever got something but you don't get it? Here's an example. You can't roller skate in the buffalo herd. Now, I got that, Jimmy, but I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But I loved his stuff. And this was one of my favorite songs that he did right here.
Keith Red Allen on Branson Radio Live.
The trailer's for sale to rent. Room to land for 50 cents. No phone, no food, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys a 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. I'm king of the road. Every engineer on every train, all of their children, all of their names, every handout in every town. Living like the ain't like when no one's around. I sing trailer for sale or rent. Rooms that let for 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys a 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. King of the road.
Keith Red Allen. You know, Keith, if there's anything that you want the world to know about you, man, this audience to know about you, what would it be?
Well, I just want the world to know that My Savior is Jesus Christ, that He came to this earth to redeem me, and He did. He bought me with a price, and I live for Him the best I can 24/7, 7 days a week. Church for me is every single day, and I believe you people right out here today kept a divine appointment, and I am thrilled that y'all are here. God bless y'all. I love you, I love America, and I love Branson, Missouri, and I want y'all to come see my show. Now, I want everybody to know I'm at the Branson Star. Jimmy told you where we was located over there, but I want y'all to come see me and come enjoy the stories about my grandmother and my granddaddy, and come get to know a little bit more about Keith Allen and Red Neckers and what this whole wonderful venture's been about.
Have you got one more song you'd like to share with us?
Well, I sure can. Let me see. I don't know. I only know about 2-3 songs at the most. Let's see what I want to sing y'all right here going on out here. My grandmother used to take me all over the country where she would give out free bags of groceries. Y'all ever have a grandmother like that? We'd load up Piggly Wiggly sacks full of vegetables, turnips and grains and collard greens and mustard greens. We'd pick black-eyed peas and whippoorwill peas and purple hull peas and then go give them away to people. And she buried treasure in me. But a couple of times every day she'd stop in a long hallway. She'd sit down at an old-timey pump organ, and she would play and sing her heart out for a little red-headed, freckle-faced boy. And this song right here was my grandmother's favorite. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on mine ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known, none other has ever known.
Branson Radio Live. Let's thank Kurt Moore for bringing him on today. Thank you, Kurt. You got any questions you'd like to ask?
No, but there is one thing.
What is that?
I want everybody here in the Uptown Cafe and everybody out there in Radio Land to say, Happy Birthday, Red. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Red!
Well, thank y'all, and you made me feel so good. Come see me out there in Radio Land, and you folks here at the cafe, you come up to the Branson Star and say, we heard or saw Red on the radio, $10. That's what you can come see my show for today. God bless y'all at 2 o'clock, Branson Star.
All right, let's thank him for being on Branson Radio Live here at the Uptown Cafe. And James mentioned our sponsors, and we're going to take it on out today.
Give a special thanks to Downing Street Furniture. If you ever need quality furniture and service, see Linda and the gang at Downing Street Furniture in old downtown Hollister. And of course, Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe for giving us the opportunity to bring the show to the world live from Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe here on Highway 165 in Branson, Missouri. Stop by Jackie B. Good's Uptown Cafe when you're in town. You'll be glad you did. And of course, Best Buy. Remember Best Buy the next time you need anything electronic, from audio to video, CDs to cell phones. Go to Best Buy the next time you shop. And of course, MyPowerPad.com. People promoting people. For the latest in revolutionary desktop information and communication technology, visit MyPowerPad.com. Mr. Nice Guys Vacations. For the best deals on hotels, show tickets, and vacation packages, visit Mr. Nice Guys Vacations at BigBransonSavings.com. Now back to Karen Berka.
All right. Have you all had a good time here at the Uptown Cafe? Be sure and spread the word. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from noon to 1:30, and we have all kinds of entertainers from the Branson area to entertain you. I can't even talk today. I'm so excited about the show, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the show. We'd like to thank our guest, Jimmy, and also Keith Allen. And so take it away, and we'll see you again on this coming Monday at noon. Great to see you from Des Moines. Great to see you from Texas. God bless everybody. I'm Karen Berka, your host for Branson Radio Live. Got any questions or any suggestions for the show? Email me at Karen Berka, KarenBerka @gmail.com. Until Monday, God bless you. Have a super duper weekend. We love ya. From Branson Radio Live and the Uptown Cafe here on 165 in the heart of Branson, Missouri. Bye-bye now.
Well, here's hoping you enjoyed the Branson Radio Live programming today. We'll be posting our shows every Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And because we're not able to go to church like we used to, we're going to throw in some gospel on Sunday every once in a while. So be looking forward to those, and you can reminisce about your favorite entertainers. And bear in mind, some of the entertainers are here but not performing because of the COVID situation, but we'll keep you informed as to who's appearing here and when. Just reach out to me on my email at berkabroadcasting@gmail.com for any questions that you might have, and we'll respond accordingly. And until then, remember that we love you. We want you to come into Branson when it's safe for you to do so, and so we'll keep you posted on the upcoming events here in Branson. So enjoy your day, be safe, and remember, these shows are from 2009 on up, so they're not current day. They're just to reminisce with and just enjoy, and just comfort you and give you a feel good. So thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoy the show.